Welcome to the weather forecast on CIA TV channel. Dear friends, in today's forecast, we're going to break down what you need to know about the weather that will affect the United States over the next 7 days. We're going to be deep into the tropics because we have a developing area just east of the Lesser Antilles, and there's also a Category 4 hurricane in the Pacific heading toward Hawaii. However, the threat of flooding will eventually be with us and other areas in the short term, which will also bring flooding. Trinidad and Tobago, Grenada, Costa Rica, Panama, Jamaica. We're going to see some storms. And finally, a major change in weather is going to be happening in the United States. In addition, severe weather is possible across the East Coast with strong winds, hail, and maybe even a few tornadoes. We're in the Caribbean. This is a tropical disturbance. This big area north of Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, we're seeing some flooding. Nicaragua. I'll show you the rainfall totals. Huge rainfall totals. There are still scattered areas of rain. We had some severe thunderstorms yesterday in parts of the Cayman Islands, Cuba, the Bahamas, Jamaica. Haiti. We'll see some more. The Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico and Trinidad and Tobago. There's a very high chance of rain today. Rain will move into northeastern Venezuela and Grenada, with the potential for flooding. Look at Hawaii. This is Kiko watching. This is what's left of Lorena. We'll look at some rainfall totals in Texas, New Mexico and Mexico as we go. The US, European, Canadian models and the Icon model, all 4 major models are saying that this storm will not develop into a tropical storm or hurricane. A tropical wave that could cause flooding. And then just see if it tries to regenerate as it moves closer to the Bahamas and back into the Caribbean. So there's a very low chance that it's going to develop into a hurricane. We're going to be watching this throughout the duration of this tropical wave to see if it's going to cause flooding. As we get into Tuesday into Wednesday, that's when the tropical wave starts moving in. Rain will increase. Dominica, Saint Martin, Anguille, Antigua, Barbuda, then back into the British and US Virgin Islands, and Puerto Rico. So there's a couple of things going on here that we really need to pay attention to over the next couple of days. So this Thursday is going to be additional rain from that tropical disturbance, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, and that flood threat. So I'll be keeping a close eye on the development of the tropical depression. I'll also be keeping a close eye on it as it slowly moves back into Bays. There's a chance of a hurricane developing right here all week in the Western Caribbean. And then a new tropical wave coming in later this week. Scattered rain in some areas but widespread flooding is possible, so stay alert. Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama. And then as we head into tomorrow, still scattered storms. Jamaica back into Haiti, the Dominican Republic, and you'll see some additional rain. St. Vincent, the Grenadines will get some rain. Bahamas, Central Bahamas, even Southern Bahamas, rain potential. But as we get out in time, by Monday, you could see the next tropical disturbance coming in. So, on Tuesday, we'll be watching this one. Right now, we don't see any development from this one, but some of the rain will start to accumulate and move north. We'll see if any of those storms move up the Gulf. So there's a couple of things to really watch over the next couple of days. This is a big one. This is a strong storm, a major hurricane right here. This is Kiko. This is Hawaii. So we're in the Pacific, back in the Central Pacific. There's going to be weakening. Not a lot today, but more tomorrow as we head into Monday. Keep an eye on Hawaii. But this storm is going to move very close to Hawaii as a tropical storm or just a weakening system. Keep an eye out for some of those remnants. But as we move into Tuesday and Wednesday, there's a chance that some tropical storms will impact the area. Most of the models are keeping tropical storm conditions to the north. But if there's any shift south, that could bring more significant weather. So we'll be following that together. Now, we're going to look at some areas of rain. We're tracking near Florida, north of the Bahamas. That's what happened near Cuba and the Cayman Islands. Some of the larger storms will come in from Quebec, moving toward New Brunswick. Watch for the remnants of Lena. Just watch for some rain here. But there's still some rain. New Brunswick, New England. Scattered storms today into tomorrow moving toward Newfoundland, Prince Edward Island, Cape Cod, and we'll get some showers in Falmouth and Bourne. There's some rain developing toward the southeast United States. So, you'll get hit by corollas as you move south of Cape Patties. The chance for rain increases as we head into Monday. Some larger thunderstorms are possible. Over 100 millimeters of rain. Watch for the Bahamas, not just the northern Bahamas, but some scattered areas of rain in the central and southern parts. And the rain will be heavier, especially in southern Florida and the Keys at times. Scattered rain. Jamaica, higher chance of rain. Cayman Islands, Haiti and the Dominican Republic. Very concerned about rivers in Puerto Rico. Scattered areas of thunderstorms. And then Puerto Rico back into the northeastern Caribbean. We'll be watching Tuesday, Wednesday, even into Thursday to see the higher flood potential as the tropical disturbance moves in. But look at these massive totals. Panama, Costa Rica, parts of Colombia, major flooding. Coastal areas of Nicaragua, especially the Caribbean, some spots over 150 millimeters of rain. Inland areas, flood watch across Mexico and then scattered rain in areas. But this area of New Mexico could get about 3 inches of rain scattered across Texas. So keep an eye on the rivers and the risk of flooding here. And there's some heavier rain to come. And we'll start with what's going on across the country today. Back in the Northeast, we're starting to see a trough of low pressure moving east. A really strong southwesterly flow is going to be in place today across New England and much of the Northeast, bringing the risk of severe weather with strong winds and possible tornadoes this afternoon. And we'll look at the gusty winds and the moderate winds. Here's what's going on right now. We still have a very strong northwesterly flow coming out of Canada, which continues to bring very cold weather into the Midwest and the Ohio Valley. That's going to continue through the weekend. Same with the Northeast. A big low pressure system is just north of New England, and then back along the west coast. This is where we have a big mountain range that's building up right now across the Rocky Mountains, which is helping to keep things warm. Now, as we head into the latter part of this week and early next week, the low pressure system will move out and consolidate just north of New England, which will bring cooler weather across New England. But eventually, we'll see this band of low pressure develop further, and we'll start to see warm air build back up across the Great Plains and Midwest on Monday and Tuesday. By Wednesday and Thursday, the weather pattern will change a lot. Basically, it will bring very warm weather across the Great Plains, Midwest, and Ohio Valley. Additionally, there's a big low pressure system that's likely to develop later next week west of the Rocky Mountains. If it can make it across the Rocky Mountains, we could see a return to severe weather across the Central Plains and the Northern Plains. So if that happens, it's definitely something to keep an eye on. Starting with our temperature anomaly this weekend, we still have very cold weather that's hanging over the Midwest and the Great Lakes. That system will move further east as we head into Monday as it moves toward New England. And our low pressure system will finally move out of the country and move away from us. And warm weather will build up over the Rocky Mountains and the Northern Plains as well on Monday. By Wednesday and Thursday, that warm air will bring above average temperatures across the Northern Plains and the Midwest. So this is still about 7 days, 8 days away, but I think severe weather could return in the long term. Now, let's talk about the severe weather potential over the next few days. And we have a slight risk of severe weather from southern Maine to eastern Pennsylvania. Marginal threat from central Maine all the way into northern Georgia, where the biggest concern will be damaging winds. Large hail is also possible. And then there's also the potential for a few tornadoes. I wouldn't even be surprised if we saw a 5% risk of tornadoes in parts of far western Massachusetts, far northwest Connecticut, and southeastern New York, where I think there's a slightly higher threat for a few tornadoes this afternoon. And then as we get into Sunday, the severe weather threat will taper off. We'll have just a few isolated storms from the southeast up into the Rocky Mountains and into the Pacific Northwest. However, there will be some scattered showers and storms across the Midwest on Tuesday. No real severe weather is expected from there. By Wednesday and Thursday, coastal showers and storms across the southeast will continue. And then we'll likely start to see a little better weather across the northern plains and Rocky Mountains as we head into the weekend and early next week. Now, let's talk a little more about exactly how cold the next few days will be. Starting today, we'll be looking at temperatures across the Northeast and even across the Ohio Valley, with some areas dipping near freezing in northern Minnesota. But overall, we're talking mostly frost across the Midwest. Many areas will be in the mid to upper 30s and lower 40s tomorrow morning. By Sunday and Monday, temperatures will start to steadily rise. By Monday, temperatures will be back in the 70s across much of the Midwest, 90s across the Great Plains. Tuesday and Wednesday will likely be the warmest days of the week. By Wednesday, temperatures will be back in the 80s and 90s across much of Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and Iowa. And finally, next weekend, it's going to be very hot, maybe even back to around 100 degrees in Missouri and Iowa. So, it's going to get very hot very quickly. But again, enjoy this beautiful weather. We will continuously update the storm situation in the next news. Please subscribe to the channel to follow. Thank you for watching the news on CIA TV channel.